everyone, and welcome back to episode 7 of our Fully Booked podcast. You are here with me, Mrs. Spittle.
And me, Mrs. Smedley-Baugh.
Hello.
Welcome back.
Hello, everyone. Hello, Smedley.
This is our second one, isn't it, of this academic year?
It is, but the 7th in total.
And we are now entering the beautiful season of autumn.
The autumnal
We're in
season.
my favourite quarter. Favourite quarter of the year. I like autumn. I like this all the way through now to Christmas.
You are very festive.
Pumpkin spice and all things nice. I have installed the pumpkin spice Airwick smelly plug-in today, especially for the festive season. The pre-festive season.
Love it.
It smells delightful.
What did the oak tree say when autumn came around?
Oh, shock me.
Leave me alone.
Oh, dear.
I'd like a different reaction to my jokes, actually, like full-on belly laugh, please.
There you go.
What did one autumn leaf say to the other?
Oh, I don't know.
I'm falling for you.
Oh, because it falls off the trees.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm still
dear.
going. Okay, here's a maths one for you. What is the ratio of a pumpkin's circumference to its diameter?
I have no idea.
Pumpkin pie.
Oh, wow.
Last one with the dodgy jokes. Why did the Scarecrow win the Nobel Prize?
Go on.
Because he was outstanding in his field.
Wow. Well, you've really dug deep for these, haven't you,
I have indeed.
I quite like the phrase pumpkin circumference. It's a nice thing to say.
Pumpkin circumference.
Pumpkin circumference.
Yeah, phonetic.
Do you like pumpkin pie?
I've never tried it.
It's really odd. It's a very odd consistency.
What is it? Sweet, savoury?
It's sort of in the middle. It's a bit like treacle tart type consistency. But I couldn't quite work. I love pumpkin soup. I love pumpkin risotto.
That sounds nice.
Pumpkin
I am
risotto
more
is
of
really
a
good.
savoury than a...
But pumpkin pie
pudding.
is quite bizarre. I had it last year in America at Thanksgiving, and I don't quite know how I feel about it.
They go all out.
There's everything's pumpkin flavoured though, like everything. Like, oh, I'm just gonna go and get a little snacky snack, and everything is pumpkin flavoured or cinnamon, which I really don't like.
I love cinnamon.
Not a fan of cinnamon. I like maple. I like maple flavoured stuff.
Like a tree flavour.
Tree flavoured, yeah.
Tree
I had
sap.
I had the Costa Coffee autumn special.
Ooh,
I can't remember if it was last week or the week before, and that was maple and hazelnut, I think.
that sounds delicious.
Very autumnal.
Oh,
It was
I
very
love
Instagram worthy.
I love the colours.
And me. I like a bit of brown and burnt orange.
The warmth of autumn, the hug of autumn.
Well, actually, that leads me on to a lovely podcast that I've been listening to. This is not my book line of
What's
Stink
that
Cats.
then?
It's
Go
not
on.
a book. It's by a lady called Beth Kempton, and she's got a string of podcasts. I don't know if they're available on Spotify. I listen to them on Apple Podcasts. But they go from a cosy winter all the way through to a cosy Christmas. So she starts at like this time of year, and their podcasts about like protecting your well-being through the winter and thinking about what you want your winter to look like. And they're very sparkly and cute, and she talks about fairy lights and, you know, dimming the lights at night and having candlelight and fairy lights, and how we as humans should naturally have that dimmer light in the winter, and it makes us feel cosy, and how we nest at home. And she talks about how you should choose an adjective to define your winter season based on the rest of your year. So what sort of year have you had? What sort of this time of the year do you want? So I decided on magical.
Magical.
Yeah, because we're still in my 30th year, so I've been attempting to uphold quite a magical year. So I would really like a magical season. So I've got like my autumn garlands and my little pumpkin lights and stuff. And I like it to be like dark and candlelit. I like to feel like a Victorian. I like to feel positively Dickensian in this time of year.
Okay, so I also celebrated a milestone birthday. I'm still in my 40th.
You did. Yours was a little bit different to mine in terms of years.
Yeah.
A whole decade.
Oh dear. So mine.
What would you like your winter to be? Content. That's nice. I feel like content and magical would marry together quite well. Because magical would make me content, and you would be content with magical.
Definitely content with magical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like there's ones like restful, or like basically she's implying to avoid chaotic, that in this time of year we are naturally built to almost go into like a hibernation.
I was just thinking.
Yeah, like a restful phase of the year But in fact, we tend to go the other way, and things get a bit manic coming up to...
Running up to Christmas.
Yeah, so we've got, like, obviously you've got Halloween, then you've got people celebrating stuff like Diwali, that's then sort of like a busy time, and then people who celebrate things like Hanukkah, that's a busy time. Then into Christmas, that's a busy time. Bonfire night, Halloween, and there's just sort of back-to-back events, isn't there? And people tend to be quite busy when actually we should be in our restful phase of the year.
Oh,
it's nice. It makes you feel all warm and fuzzy inside, doesn't it?
Really
I love this time of year. It makes me really happy.
And our next podcast is going to be all things spooky, isn't it?
Yeah, spooky season. So this one's pumpkin spice and all things nice, and we have another theme a little bit later on, but then next time, full on spooky season, because we break up right before Halloween. Are you doing anything at Halloween?
I am going to Tenerife.
That's going to be a peculiar Halloween. Do they celebrate Halloween in Tenerife?
I really don't know.
No, nor do I.
I think I'll give trick-or-treating a miss this year.
Yeah, perhaps. Perhaps, yeah.
Yeah. I need a bit of autumn sunshine.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah. Cosy sunshine.
Cosy sunshine, candlelit evenings in the sun.
Yeah. I'm glad you mentioned the podcast that you've been listening to, because we are now taking our podcast to Spotify.
Woo!
We've
diversified.
Yeah, it's quite difficult to find on Spotify, but there is a link which we will put on the screens around school.
We'll send it to tutors.
Yeah, in case you want to have a listen. But we're still on YouTube, and we're still on, is it X, the new Twitter?
Yeah, so the links are posted on X, aren't they? And then it's available through Spotify and YouTube.
X? What was Elon Musk? What was that for?
Isn't that like his child's name or something? Isn't one of his children called X? Or something like that.
Know.
It's some sort of figure. We actually have a special guest with us today who is
Elon Musk?
It's Elon Musk who is in the library with us. Who is now? Were you nodding or shaking your head? He was not. His child is called X. I'm not losing the plot.
Yes.
Yeah,
X.
child is called X. Yeah, gave it a name of like a symbol as opposed to a word.
Okay.
But then did he name Twitter after his child, or had he already decided it was going to be called X beforehand? I'm not sure, because he's married to, or he's with Grimes, isn't he?
Are they still together?
I believe so. They've just had another child, haven't they?
I don't know. What's that called?
Why? I've got a clue.
Talking through the Tesla models.
I don't read these current affairs.
No,
I
neither
listen
do
to
I.
podcasts about putting up fairy lights for your mental well-being.
Oh, thank you, KP. Grimes. Oh my goodness.
Keaxi, Roman numerals. Oh.
Do you remember when you were in
The
trouble?
unknown variable. So his child is called unknown variable.
No, do you know when you were in trouble as a kid and you used to get shouted at with your full name?
Imagine saying that one. You'd lose where you were halfway through.
Just go through the letters of the alphabet.
A, B, C, D. You have been very, very naughty today. Thank you for that contribution there. Secret special guest.
Indeed, yeah. You can sing a song for us later.
Yeah.
What have you been reading?
Is this book line or stinker now?
Yeah, for Bookline or
Well, I've actually finished one called The Family Upstairs recently, which I'm lending to a lovely Year 11.
I think you spoke about that before.
I've finished it. All the end was
Are you
banging.
sleeping at night?
It was a bit creepy in parts, but I'm lending that now to Year 11, and I've actually started Murder on the Orient Express by Agatha Christie.
Not personally started murdering.
Yeah, yeah, people on trains.
Long way to go.
I really like it. It's a proper cozy read, because I would love to go on the Orient Express. It's one of those things. I just think it looks so cozy and lovely.
Bucket list.
Yeah, and then it gets stuck in the snow,
should do
doesn't
a bucket
it?
list episode.
Yeah, yes, we should. Yeah. I ticked off a few actually this year. So if we went towards the end of the year, we could set a bucket list for next year, and if we bucket listed anything this year.
I like it.
But yeah, it's the train gets stuck in the snowdrift, so it's all quite seasonally appropriate. It's a proper nice.
Just with a few.
I was going to say sit down with a cup of tea and read it, but I don't drink tea. I actually drink. I like
pumpkin
milkshake.
spice latte.
Well, I like a milkshake.
What?
I like a strawberry or chocolate milkshake when I'm reading.
Milk and cookies.
Yeah, I've got my Halloween flashing cup. My Mickey Mouse one.
Oh my goodness.
Not sponsored. Not sponsored
Can't
content.
with this.
I really like it.
What kind of age do you recommend this?
75 years plus. Whatever age your grandparents
Highlight
are.
it with your bingo.
My mum was
Gabba.
laughing because she was like, "You have turned into your nan." you are sat in your dressing gown reading an Agatha Christie
with your flashing
with the
cup.
lamp on with my flashing cup.
It's brilliant.
I know a few of our year 11s actually have read some Agatha Christie's.
I love Agatha.
There's nothing inappropriate in them, is there? So if you are a crime fan,
Yeah, if you've ever watched Knives Out on Netflix, it's that kind of genre.
they're a bit hard to follow, aren't they? It's a bit like Cluedo. There were 15 people on this train who all could have been responsible for the murder of Mr. Ratchet, and you sort of forget who's who. But I do like picturing, what was his name? Was it David Suchet who played Poirot in the TV programme? I like picturing him saying the lines in French. I quite enjoy it. He's Belgian though, isn't he? But he speaks French.
Belgian.
Yeah, I really like it.
I've been reading a book, a collection of short stories called Little Book of Horrors. It's a very old book and you can only get it second hand now.
It's quite expensive.
It
I
is
looked on
very
eBay.
expensive. I do have one copy.
It's really creepy.
It's very creepy. We actually use a few of the little short stories in our Year 7 Twisted Tales sequencing. But
those of you in older years might remember Cat Dog Baby and Little Brother as the ones where everyone was really quite freaked out.
It's very Lamb to the Slaughter-esque.
It is. It's Roald Dahl, Unexpected Tales vibes.
It's got some short stories by
Do you remember Grizzly Tales for Gruesome Kids?
Yes.
That was a programme. Oh, you lot are way too young to remember that, but it was a programme that was on when I was little, and they used to tell these really quite creepy short stories with like Wallace and Gromit type animation, like stop motion animation, and they used to be so creepy. Goosebumps as well. They remind me of Goosebumps.
Never been a fan of Goosebumps.
They're creepy though, aren't they? They're creepy, the ones in that book.
Yeah, the ones in the book. My favourite at the minute, and I've actually copied it for my Literacy Legends classes next year, so year 8 and year 9. You've got this to look forward to. The one that I'm loving at the minute is called Chompers.
I don't like that title. I don't like that word.
And it's about...
Chomping.
It's about a pair of teeth that have been found in an alleyway.
Oh, stop.
And someone puts them in, and then... it causes them to do
chomps,
terrible
I presume.
Yeah, chompers.
Did you enjoy Red? I quite like Red in there.
Yeah, I've got Red as well.
Yeah, it's quite good, isn't it? It's quite dark.
It's a very
ominous.
short story.
Makes you. It leaves the reader to establish from that what they wish to establish.
Yes.
It's quite dark, I think.
It helps your inference.
It very much helps your inference because it's not obvious at all.
Not at all, but it's
really good.
It's very suspenseful.
Well, they're very apt to the seasonal.
That's what I was thinking.
Vibe.
That's what I didn't want to go full on horror, so I just went little book of.
I just went for murder instead.
Yeah.
Which, I suppose sort of seasonally
It is.
relevant. I am actually going to buy though the book from that lady's podcast. It's called Calm Christmas and a Happy New Year. Again, not sponsored, but she reads sections from her own book, and she's a beautiful writer. If anybody fancies following some of the like advice and stuff, she's got a really good Instagram page. Her name's Beth Kempton, so it's at Beth Kempton.
I'll give that a look.
But it's not quite spooky enough for you. I don't think you're too busy reading about chompers, not fairy lights and pumpkin
teeth.
spice.
So we are in spooky season, pumpkin spice and all things nice.
Yeah.
But we are also celebrating a very special month this month.
We are. If any of you have frequented the library in the last couple of weeks, you'll notice that we actually have 2 displays up side by side. One is for spooky season, and one is for Black History Month. So a few of you have taken books off that, which is great because there were specific texts that were put out. And the whole month of October is a celebration of Black History Month, and as well as a celebration, it's sort of a reminder, isn't it? It acts as a reminder to people.
Yeah.
Miss Wilkes has been doing her assemblies, hasn't she?
She has.
A few of you might have already had them.
Croaking away through assembly.
Yeah, because she's been a bit poorly. And the theme for this year is celebrating our sisters.
Okay.
So
Cool.
it's celebrating iconic black females, like across the board. I'm not just talking celebrities, sports stars, like people's family members, people who have inspired them. And if any of you want to enter Miss Wilkes' competition that she's discussed in the assembly, I am taking the entries. So I've got a little pile of them already by my desk. I've had some lovely stuff handed in. Somebody wrote something really quite beautiful about their mum, because they were their inspirational black female. And it was really lovely.
That's beautiful.
So yeah, we do have a special guest speaker actually today on the end of our podcast, speaking about Black History Month. But just before we go into that, I've been doing a bit of research over the last week, because neither myself or Miss Whitehouse, you know us, Bells, neither one of us are black females. Our guest speaker is Miss James, who obviously is a black female, and I did a bit of reading over the last few days about how other people can advocate for the sort of the reasons and stuff behind Black History Month, and I found a really interesting poem. So I read a poem. I read a blog post from a lady who lives in Houston in America, and she's a white lady, but was talking about how she lives in a community where there are a lot of black families, and how although she will never understand or be able to resonate, that she can still promote the values. So she posted this poem, and it's about the American education system and how it omits certain parts of history and perhaps glosses over them, and they're very ignored, and therefore people don't get a true education of what the past has been like. It's often, the phrase is whitewashed, where it goes in favour of other groups of people. So I'll read this poem, it's only short. You learned about Helen Keller instead of W.E.B. Du Bois. You learnt about the Watts and LA riots, but not Tulsa or Wilmington. You learnt that George Washington's dentures were made from wood rather than the teeth from slaves. You learnt about black ghettos, but not about Black Wall Street. You learnt about the New Deal, but not redlining. You learned about Tommy Smith's fist in the air at the 1968 Olympics, but not that he was sent home the next day and stripped of his medals. You learnt about black crime, but white criminals were never lumped together and discussed in terms of their race. You learnt about state rights as the cause of the Civil War, but not that slavery was mentioned 80 times in the Articles of Succession. Privilege is having history rewritten so that you don't have to acknowledge uncomfortable facts. There's my little poem.
Oh, wow.
I thought it was really good. That end line's brilliant, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's a very good summary. Trying to explain that sometimes to people is quite hard, isn't it?
Definitely. Just thinking about our education system as well, and the poem that we teach, Checking Out My History, deals with many of the similar issues as well.
It does.
That we teach in school and that we don't teach in school. Thanks for that, JSB.
That's
very
all right.
Poignant. Just, I think, to end as well, if anyone has an Audible account where you can listen to books being read aloud, they have curated a selection of stories of past, present, future with inspiring memoirs, conversation starters and gripping contemporary and historical fiction, all to celebrate Black History Month as well.
Oh, so you can go on and have a listen.
Yeah.
Might be something that stands out for you. And if you don't have an Audible account and you want to pop down to the library, like I say, we've got a display with some text specific to both the celebration and the remembering why it exists aspect of the month. So you're more than welcome to take those out as well and have a little read.
Yeah.
And
hope to see you down here.
Yeah.
And we will hand over to Miss James.
We will hand over to Miss James. So we shall conclude and say
time.
goodbye and
enjoy your pumpkin spice latte.
All things nice. Always a pleasure, never a chore.
Oh gosh. Bye everyone.
Bye.
Hi, this is Itasha James. I am a teacher at Ormiston New Academy. I have the privilege of teaching drama, performing arts and music. And I've also been here for nearly 19 years. As a young child, I loved performing, but didn't have the opportunity to be able to perform. So a lot of singing and dancing and messing around in my bedroom until I was lucky enough to go to college to do performing arts. And that's where my love for performing flourished. When I was younger, like I said, at secondary school, I didn't have those opportunities to be part of drama. So I did indulge myself in things that were close to it, like media and a little bit of music and things like that. And one of the things that stood out for me at secondary school was that I was the only black child. I was the only black child in my class. I think there were 2, maybe 3 black girls in the whole year group. And yeah, we stood out, but I didn't let it bother me. I got on, I worked very, very hard. But one thing I did notice is that I did have to work a lot harder than everybody else. So, for example, I was put in the bottom set as soon as I hit year 7. I wouldn't say I was clever in primary school, but I tried really hard. I did work hard, so I knew I shouldn't have been in. I shouldn't really say the bottom set either, but it was. That's exactly what it was. I was one of in the low ability groups, and I did have to work very, very hard to make my way up to the top. I did get to the top band by the end of year 8. And all the inspiration really came from home of, trying and working hard. There was 1 or 2 teachers that did push me, but unfortunately there was a lot of teachers that didn't push me, and didn't embrace me. And it's only until I got a little bit older that I realised that may have been intentional. And as a teacher now, and I can't imagine not inspiring every single child in my classroom. Every single child matters in my room. And I must say, I do have a particular focus on the black children because I know how it feels, how you can sometimes be left out or people might fear you. Back in the day, and when I got to college as well, and drama school, I went to a private drama school to do my degree. I was left, to my own devices a lot, and not pushed as much as everybody else, and I wasn't given opportunities to be Itasha. In my last year at university at the drama school, everybody got given like a particular role for their final assessment, and the director gave me a Romanian woman. I had to become a Romanian woman and smoke, but that's another subject altogether. That was when you could smoke inside, so I did have to smoke on stage for that part. But I had to be a Romanian doctor, actually. And it was the hardest thing I've ever had to do. I had to learn this accent, I had to get a wig, I had to try and look Romanian. You can't see me now, but I'm a black woman with dreadlocks. And I had to change myself to get my degree. And if you flip that over, turn that around, imagine making everybody in that same class be Bob Marley. You've got to all be Bob Marley now. Go and find some dreadlocks, get a Jamaican accent, and if you don't, you're not going to pass. You're not going to pass. And that's what happened to me in reverse, but no one cared, no one listened. And you know what? I did it, and I smashed it. I was still black on stage. I couldn't avoid that, but I did my absolute best. And for that particular performance, my director, he gave me a 2-2 for the final thing. But luckily, we had external people come in, external professionals, actors as well, come in and also grade us. And I'll never forget this man, David Van. He, God rest his soul, he's no longer with us. He came in and gave me a first. He gave me a first for the exact same performance, and that was the only one I ever got for my whole 3 years. And I know I was good. I was amazing. I knew I believed in myself that much, and my family and friends always used to tell me how amazing I was. And he was the only person. He was a white man. And I was so grateful to him. But he's the only person at that drama school that I'll leave nameless, that it believed in me, and that's why I now try to champion as many young black people in school and push them to really believe in themselves, and know that they can do what they want to do. It's going to be hard, but they are capable, and that it is possible. And at the moment, I'm trying to encourage all to do that. It's a bit obvious as a black member of staff. I'm going to naturally do that, but I would like not just all people in this school, all over the world, all over the country, to have this same approach. As far as working in the industry, as an actress, over the last 20 years, that has been difficult. But I must say, since the Black Lives Matter protests and everything that happened with George Floyd, people have tried to make a change, whether intentional because through the pressures of it or whatever. There's been a change, and luckily for me, I've been able to work professionally as an actress 6 times since in the last 3 years, and over the last 20, maybe once or twice I've had those opportunities. So I have been fortunate to work as a black actress, being a black woman, just playing normal roles and not playing Romanian women with a wig. So I have been very, very fortunate. In school, I'm very, very, very proud to be the first black member of SLT. That is very special to me. It's something that I didn't think would happen, and I'm very grateful that I am in a space where I can represent black women, black people, and just be, just champion what it means to be a leader and be black at the same time. That's okay. That is possible. Do I think we need to do a little bit more? Yes, I do. My wish is, in 10 years' time, it's not even shocking. It won't be shocking to see, 2 or 3 members of staff around the leadership table, or, more black staff that are in roles that, leading roles in the academy. That would be amazing, and it is possible, and we are making taking small steps to ensure that happens. And I'm fortunate enough to have a beautiful role. I get to lead rewards and aspirations in the academy, and that is something that suits me very well. And I'm in the middle at the minute of creating a performance at the end of half term, where students that will watch it will be the ones that have achieved enough rewards, achievement points to be able to watch the performance. And obviously that performance is going to be based around Black History Month. And it's not just for black children to take part in. It is for anyone that has a story they want to tell that relates to black history, black culture, black excellence. Anyone can take part as long as you are celebrating Black History Month. The theme actually is celebrating our sisters, but I do want to also celebrate our black boys as well, because they also need love and support, especially the ones that come here. We do have around about, I should know the actual figures, but about 250 black students in the school. And that's a lot. That's like 26% of our school. So they do need to be seen. They do need to be listened to and understood. They are very often misunderstood. We've got a little bit of work to do there as well. But as long as I'm here, I want to make it happen. Anything's possible.
Thank you so much, Miss James. It was really lovely hearing from you today and hearing your experience and just being able to speak your truth and people hear it. Thank you so much for coming on with us today, and I shall no doubt see you soon. Thanks for listening, guys. We'll see you next time.